Once upon a time in the ancient lands of West Java, there lived a princess of breathtaking beauty named Dayang Sumbi. One afternoon while she was focused on her room, her spall of trees split and rolled across the floor, landing each of which overcome by a sudden wave of laziness and unwilling to stand up. Dayang Sumbi made a reckless thought without a second thought. Whoever she may treat, if they be male, I shall marry him. If they be female, I shall take they as my sister. To her, the belief is what not a human was afraid, but a male dog named Tumang, a living by his born by his own spoken oath, then Sumbi married the creature from his strange union. A son was born, a strong and handsome boy named Sangkuriang. Year passed, and one day Dayang Sumbi found herself craving the taste of their heart. Eager to please his mother, Sangkuriang immediately set off into the deep forest, accompanied by his faithful companion Tumal to fulfill her desire. Something is wrong. The air felt different today. Usually don't you? They wandered deeper into the thicket, but found nothing of life. It was as they were walking toward a graveyard of street silence, save for the hollow sigh of the wind through struck daily. There's nothing here. Let's head back. We've circled the perimeter and haven't spotted the single living thing. On their way back, the shadow twists. Suddenly, they were surrounded by gross quiet creatures. They vaguely resembled the local wildlife, but their bodies were already be deformed, covered with weapon swords, jagged mutation, and glowing crystalline groans. Sangkuriang had never seen such monsters. He drew his weapon, his every neighbor on high alert. 1, 2, 3, damn it! There are so many! We are completely boxed it, but something is off. They look like feral beasts, but their movements are coordinated like an army. Tumang, get ready to strike. Break their formation so we can escape. Our priority is getting out of terror alive. A brutal clash also they folk desperately to carve a path to the horde. Finally, spotting a gap in the enemy lies seizing the chains. They are bolted together toward an edge of the woods. There were only a few paces away from freedom with a canopy above shattered. A massive sea-hawk would attack plummeted from the sky. Boom! The sheer impact of the landing poisoned the surrounding trees, tearing the very earth apart. Panic seizing Sangkuriang. This heart freezing and the sight of the towering Negambel before hike. We are forming the base language with feral brutality. Lacking real combat experience, Sangkuriang was completely overwhelmed by its monster's strength. And that escape movement, the mutatic pest close in tinted the nose around them. The situation was hopeless, sensing impending death. The hawk chased forward, crashing struck the base wall. It gripped Sangkuriang battery body and dragged him away, running until they reached a hiding sanctuary. Once the wave saved from the immediate danger, Shihon collapsed, anxiety a heavy rapsy breath. Then to Sangkuriang utter shock, the animal spoke with a human voice, unraveling unhidden truth.
Listen to me, Sangkuriang. I will only say this answer, so mark my word. I am not just your pet. I am your father. I was also a good dancer with eradicating that abomination, the entity that once resisted this catalysm, but a pro twist of father with me crossed in the canive cuneiform. If the Luncelot, my divine power, will bow to this body, it will claim my life. You understand? What must happen next? Don't you? Take my power in the only weapon capable of slaying that monster. So, with your skull strength, controlling in will be an ungodly, wouldn't he? Hehe. Don't not with my boy. I will always be with you, for this power is a price of my fair soul. No, run! Save yourself and protect your mother. Run! And do not look back. No matter what horror you are tearing through the world behind you, keep your eyes forward.
I'm understand, father. Sang Kuryang sprinted forward, toward the forest exit. He didn't care how many monsters hold at this hell. He ran with everything he had, refusing to let his father, Sang Krivice, be in vain. But as he broke through the tree line, the view ahead shattered his spirit. The landscape was a scancel of ruins. The village, her own scale home, was obliterated, reduced to nothing but cracked foundation and smoking debris. He was gone. With from expression, panic and terror colored at his chest, and the talk of his mother. His predictor was turned, screaming into the fight. "Mother, it's near. If you can hear me, please answer." Despair consumed him. The silence confirmed the grisly reality. No one had survived the cataclysm brought by the master. Knelling amidst the Asher, sorrow had not into pure rage. Sang Kuryang swore a blood oath. He world master, the divine power his father left behind, and put an end to this apocalypse. Determined to unlock the god hot dwelling within him, Sang Kuryang embarked on a wearing journey to halt the calamity. After the relentless walking, sun began to dip below the horizon, bleeding crimson across the sky. Sang Kuryang came across an exciting, abandoned village. Sensing the fall aura of the cataclysm, beats lingering nearby, he can away the place was deserted, still exhaustion one. He forced himself to sleep, even a paranoia haunted his thought. When morning arrived, Sang Kuryang woke up feeling surprisingly rejuvenated. His body is peak condition, and his quickly packed his gear, and withered old man approached him of nowhere.
Leaving so soon? May I ask your name, young traveler?
Sang Kuryang flinched, shocked to find another living soul in this wasteland.
Oh, good morning, Elder. My name is Sang Kuryang. You shall stay here for long. It's too dangerous. I'm sure Adiphius to seek and safer refuge.
Take it easy, boy. I may look frail, but I can hold my own. In fact, I am the reason you slept so soundly last night. Upon what of those monsters attacked while you were asleep, so I personally drove them away.
I see. Forgive me for misjudging your strength, Elder, and thank you for watching over me.
Think nothing of this. It is the duty of the old to shield the young, especially when you are still a child. Haha, don't tell me. I feel a colossal energy slumbering within you. Is a pretty such power remain unbreakable.
That is the sole purpose of my journey. To force this power into a weapon, I want to budget every single of those catalysm friends. They have stolen everything precious to us. Dream, family, hope, all way out. You understand why I'm here now, don't you, Elder?
In that, I see it in your eye. Vengeance. You see, to fight the world in the third road. But tell me, once there are done with us, what will you do then?
I don't know, to be honest. I don't even know if I'm have what it take wipe them all out.
Listen, young man, how about you train with me? I can only teach you basic fundamental, which is still better than wandering into the abyss empty-handed. Forever, I know some other acquaintance who can guide you to truly master divine arts living inside you.
Thank you, Elder. You have done more for me than I'm gonna ever ask.
We are in this together. Training begin at dawn.
Right!
Years of iron and blood from that day on, Sangkuriang trained with ruthless discipline. Under the old man tutelage, he eventually mastered the fundamental forms of his power. Bidding farewell to his mentor, he traveled from one ruined settlement to another, searching for the old man's acquaintance to fully unlock his potential. Years bled into one another, Sangkuriang traversed countless villages, his day defined by unending combat and thrilling meditation. He pushed his body to the absolute brink, obsessed with mastering his father's legacy. Years later, the boy had become a hardened warrior. Through blood and trial, he finally uncovered the fatal weakness of the cataclysmic beast and the direct threat behind their existence. He devised a grand strategy to eradicate the plague once for all, armed with knowledge and godlike might. He set his sight on his ultimate destination. The silent capital Sangkuriang had finally unraveled the enemy's ultimate objective. They sought the Talam Sanjiwana, a mythical relic of supreme power, to subjugate the entire continent. He knew exactly where the artifact was enshrined, within the heavily fortified walls of the Parahyangan Giri kingdom. Before marching upon the capital, Sangkuriang forged two legendary weapons to channel his war, the sacred dagger Kujang Kudihyang and the heavy blade Bedok Sanghyang. He could felt it in his bone. The final reckoning was near. He was about to face the very anxiety that had slaughtered his father all 2 years ago. When he arrived at Parahyangan Giri, the sheer scale of the kingdom was breathtaking. Yet the magnificent view was drowned by a crushing, oppressive aura. The streets were barren. No merchants, no guards, no citizens. It was a ghost city. Even drowned Sangkuriang navigates the eerie silence.
What is the meaning of this? Why is the capital desert? Have the people fled it in terror because the catalyst is their gates? Or is everything hiding? The usual guessing. I need to find someone of high authority. The queen perhaps must know where the Talam Sanjiwa is centured.
Sangkuriang finally reached the grand iron doors of the queen's throne room. He knocked heavily.
Wogoster! Peace, my name is Sangkuriang. Apology for the UN visit, but I must grant a urgent audience with the queen.
Absurd, you look like a digger, mercenary, a complete stranger demanding to see Her Majesty in the dead of night. Begone.
Hey, look, I get it, but this concept the fate of the war. Please, let me in.
As the argument cancelled, the man's door slowly groaned open. The queen herself stepped forward, her presence commanding yet cold.
What is the cause of this commotion?
Forgive us, your mentions. This outsider studily arrived, demanding to see you.
Step aside. Let him enter.
As you command, your majesty. Sangkuriang faded into the vast canlit expanse of the royal plan.
Apologies for the hostility of my guards. These are dark times.
Don't worry about it, I'm just glad to speak with you. I'm Sangkuriang.
A pleasure, Sangkuriang. What brings a warrior of your caliber to my court?
I'm here for to the Talam Sanjiwana. We must secure immediately before the Catalysm horse breaches the city. Only the royal bloodline can is through a hiding pledge.
Then I fear we are too late. The Talam Sanjiwana has been stolen. We do not know who took it, which is why I ordered the palace to be completely locked down.
If the place is under lockdown, why did you let a suspicious stranger like me walk right in?
Because your reputation precedes you, young man. The small folk call you Sangkuriang, the vanquisher of the blind. I granted you entry because I have request. Find the Talam Sanjiwana for me. Can I count on you?
You have my word, Your Majesty. I will track it down. Suddenly, before the queen could reply, a violent tremor shook the place, and the thunderous explosion echoed from the deep of the Camboid globe.
Sangkuriang investigate the undercroft. It seems my guard cannot hold whatever is down there.
On it, Sang Kuryang bolted down the tall spiral stair, but at the bridge, the lower chamber, he froze. Till Willet in his eyes, his breath catching in his throat. Mother! Looking his mother is a depressed, tearful embrace amidst the blood-stained stone walls. You have changed! At all since I was a boy, still so young, still so beautiful.
Look at you, my sweetie boy, has grown into fierce warrior. Time flies so strangely. I truly believe you had to perish alongside with your father.
And I'm dog. The monster has slaughtered you when the day closed our village.
You truly are my son. Even out stupid might think I'm like, ha ha ha.
Eh, but mother, why are you wearing a blindfold? And why were the royal guard attacking you?
It is a long, twisted tale, but very well. I shall explain everything.
Before she could finish, a deafening roar echoed from outside, followed by scream. The rooster up to the highest watchtower to survey the kingdom. Why they saw divine reason, the cataclysmic horde had scarred the kingdom for goddess, yet the chariots and the army just stood there lifeless, watching the slaughter with sword, mounting and muscle.
What is wrong with them? Why are they just standing there watching their own dawn?
Because you don't know who the real puppet master is, Sang Kuryang. This is the queen. She controls the entire Kala's mystic plague. And when you look into her elf while instantly under her tire. That is why I brand myself with this throat, Sang Kuryang. Tell me, you didn't look at her?
I did, but I feel nothing. I didn't lose control. Wait, that must be why she tried to send me away to find the Talam Sanjiwana?
The Talam Sanjiwa is hidden somewhere safe, but autumn is spent. If we let this stand, the queen will consume the entire consent. What is your play, son?
I'm going out there. I will slaughter every single monster on this wall.
That is the plan, Sang Kuryang. That is suicide mission.
I decided on this path a long time ago. Mother, I'm just glad I got to see you one last time.
Wait, what are you doing?
Bye, mother. Take care of yourself. Without looking back, Sang Kuryang leaped from the watchtower, vaulting across the rooftop of the capital, setting like a god of war strike into the heart of the monster army.
Count bet when Imaza grief and away Dayang Sumbing to the tower the royal chambers, determined to assassinate the queen with her own hand.
On the blood, the great secretary Sang Kuryang usually armed with his twin legendary blade and his father Divine Red. He stood alone against a Stagregi army, one versus 1000. Realizing he was severely outnumbered, the prince slammed his hand into the heart, summoning a legion of spectral astral spirit to even the odds. The battlefield devolved into chaotic dance of steel and ethereal energy.
Meanwhile, inside the throne room, Dayang Sumbing was locked in high horrific duel. Fighting complete blend was an agonizing ordeal. To make matters worse, the queen whose the brain was hurt, she is as human shield, outnumbered and unwilling to butcher innocent people. Dayang Sumbing was forced out of the defensive. In a desperate move, she challenged her left force through her arched sons, summoning a powerful spirit anti to strike the queen, but the queen parried the assault, cornering Dayang Sumbing and tearing the blade from her face in horrific arch of the instinct, and iron will. Dayang Sumbing goaded out her own eyes to the queen, herefore pushing to spiritual sing of her summoned entities who her imminent to the queen that she present on with a final forbidden installation. Dayang Sumbing summoned of ancient horror, a colossal primordial spider. The captor took a mortal beating from the queen dark magic. Would it managed to lure the tyrant into a lethal web trap, crossing her life off. The cause of summoning was as primordial good was stepped. Dayang Sumbing had to sacrifice her breathless ancestral sass. The next scene, the birth of a mountain with the queen dead. Dayang Sumbing realized a trillion truth. The queen dark magic had been the only thing keeping the cataclysmic order summon what structured with the monster on the remaining monster when completely fairy turning into a mindless waffle of pure destruction. Led with no choice, Dayang Sumbing uncharted the throne, claiming the crown of Parahyangan diri to try and salvage the broken kingdom. On the battlefield, Sangkuriang was spent his muscle where tore his bony vertebrae and his divine energy practically depleted. He had nothing left to give except his life. Selening the absolute final ember of his father's godhood, he lured the remaining horde away from the capital, spirited toward the banks of the Citarum River. The monsters were snapping at his heels, spotting a massive discarded wooden vessel nearby. Sangkuriang delivered a through the road kick, launching the boat into the center of the valley to block air and endeavor. He surveyed the landscape on the last time.
Yes, this is a good place to die.
Sangkuriang used lance hit the forbidden divine trigger a spell that cost the caster very souls. He commanded the tectonic plates on both sides of the feral army. The earth groaned, a violence eroded pillars of stone stretching high into the heaven with a brutal clap of his hair. Clap! He slammed the two massive land masses together. The word so as a colossal mountain formed in an instant, burying the remaining 10,000 monster beneath million tons of stone. When the dust finally settled, Sangkuriang found himself standing alone at the highest peak of the newly born mountain.
Thou hast broken.
He walked well toward the edge, watching the golden sun belt over the horizon, illuminating the discreet surviving spirits of Parahyangan diri. Slumping against a lonely tree, Sangkuriang finally sat down, closing his broken weapons. He closed his eyes, a scarring smile on his face as he watched the sunrise over the kingdom he had died to save. The end.